All right, I'm just getting ready. I've got Margie's Sunshine quilt up here on the quilting bed. Love it a ton. I'm going to talk to you about fullness. When you have a quilt that has blocks on point, it also means that you have finished it out with your triangles on the edges. When you have triangles, you're probably going to have, depending upon how you've cut it, one bias edge, but you might have two bias edges. So let's talk about that a little bit. And when you have a bias edge, you can have a propensity toward more fullness there, and so you need to be gentle. What I always suggest is like this one. This one here, she has her straight of grain running this direction, so there is no extra fullness right here. Bias is going down in here, and because of that, this is being stabilized by the stitching inside of the sashing. Contrast this to these two pieces. Here, the straight of grain is going this direction. So these two are being stabilized because they're straight of grain, warp and weft, but they're already stabilized because they're being held in by the sashing here. Whereas the top is the bias edges. Because they are the bias edges, they have a lot more tendency to be able to stretch. That can happen because of the way you've attached it, because of the fullness of it, because it being pressed, because of being stretched during the stitching part of it. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Now, I'm going to be able to base that down and stitch her in, and it's going to be amazing, but I wanted to show you the fullness to start with and how I bring all of that in, how it's going to be just fine. Over here, we have the straight of grain running this direction. The bias edges are down in here. Because of that, they're being stabilized. Given the option, I would encourage you to use your bias edges in an area where they can be stabilized so that the straight of grain is running across the top. We can talk more about that. Put some comments down below and let's have a chat.